I do think AI is a way healthier addition to humans if we use it at like 20% capacity. Like, look at this guy. Like, he can't walk.
Yeah.
And he's only as smart as a 6-year-old. But he's just great to have around. You should be like, hey, like, I feel like Tony's a good, Tony, like, what do you think? And Tony's like, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, just something like you needed to make mistakes, you know? It's like if I had a robot dog, like, I want that dog to occasionally be walking. And because it's not a real dog, like, trip over something and fall. And then like get back up like nothing happened, you know? And I'm like, you fucked up. Like,
why do you want that though, you know?
Because it's cute.
It's cute.
It's cute. It's like a flaw. Like flaws in the system are cute. Like people are cute because they have flaws.
Welcome to You Are God, the podcast, a show where we philosophize, appreciate,
And a titillate.
titillate. Is that a little titillation, you know?
Yeah, but for your mind's nips.
It's a titillation. Dude, you guys gotta see his new HBO show, The Idol, dude. There's some titillation going on there, bro.
Just some titillation.
Yeah, dude.
Be elated by those tits, dude. You know?
Greg, Dylan, and Mateo here looking to get in touch with our innermost selves while discussing the underpinnings of our conscious reality. Your presence is appreciated here and online at thechangecommunity.com. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at YouAreGodPod.
Yeah, dude, we're fucking all out here wearing matching rings
That's a fact.
at this
dude.
point.
A signet right there, bro.
Thank boys.
I really wanted to get on the signet vibe because I just finished Game of Thrones in the way that Tywin Lannister. Like whenever he anger, they have like Greg, you'd be so into this. The wax with the little candle underneath that's keeping the wax hot, you know, and liquid. Yeah. And they have their little signet that they like angrily smash into the wax to like close their letters and everything like that. That would be such a good vibe to have. And honestly, something I thought you might have. I feel like it's something you'd see, be like, yeah, dude.
I think Gregory's thought about that before.
Kire has one, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, at the very least, it's on your Amazon list, you know?
Whoa, dude, that means like I can make this happen. I can send you a letter with my fist in it.
I want to talk to you guys about excess for sure. Because I feel like I texted in the group chat that we're all very overkill purchase people, you know? Like if I get a light, I'm going to get the brighter light that gives me more options than the less bright light, even if I don't need those options. This goes along with the sales thing we're talking about too, where you want to like keep up with the Joneses for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Are we all just trying to keep up with the Joneses?
Yeah, I mean, my justification for it is definitely like, I've just made up a justification to feel good about it, you know? It's probably not the real reason. Probably in some way or another trying to keep up with the Joneses, but like overkill stuff is just cool.
Yeah.
It's just fun at the end of the day.
It's just bigger and better.
Yeah. I mean, my thing though has always been like the people who develop that thing are also like, they're like more of a nerd about it than you. And like you're supporting their ability to make something just way better than it needs to be, like for the fun of it.
That's true. Like if for like the more craft objects though, for sure.
But like even like I think when I first thought of this and justified it to myself, I was thinking about like Porsches.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, is a Porsche overkill and do you ever need to spend that much money on a car? Like, of course not. Like this does more than you ever need. You never need it.
Yeah.
But if nobody bought Porsches, then all these engineers who like find so much love and joy in making and engineering that Porsche would not have a job. Like they wouldn't be able to do it. So I'm like, why not support the people that make the thing by being like, I recognize that this overkill thing has like a special value to it.
It's supporting craftsmanship for sure. When I bought my KRK speakers, I got a call from a sales rep just like talking to me. He's like, how's it going? I'm like, wow, I do not want to talk right now. But I answered him and it was like a really pleasant conversation. He's like, man, the speakers you're getting are sick and thank you for buying them. And I'm like, damn, like, I'm glad I bought these now. I'm glad I answered this call. It was a good vibe, you know?
Yeah.
He didn't make the speakers, but he was part of the company and it was like, there's a good interaction, you know? He talked about using them in college. So it's like the interconnectivity of it as well.
Yeah. Like that's a dude, like he got that job because I'm sure he's passionate about those speakers and probably owned them before he got the job. And it was like, nice, dude. Like, I'm glad you're on this wave now.
Exactly. What's the most overkill thing you've ever bought, Greg?
I'm being filmed by it, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like I overbuy either to make me better or to prevent loss in the future. Like I hate buying something twice. And there's something to be said for like a beginner kit.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I buy something and I'm like, I don't even like this. And it's a waste. But then on the flip, if you buy something and it's not good enough, you're like, oh, I should just went in.
I get because I started off with like a very beginner microphone, and then I was like, I get the mid-level microphone that's like $200, but like, why would I do that when I like the beginner microphone? I like what I'm doing. I'm gonna get the nicer one. I'm gonna make the jump now. But then there's also very frugal people. Are we just not frugal people?
Well, no, but it's to me it's a commitment level because you're totally right. From an economic point of view, like if you know you're gonna do the thing, then why would you ever waste the money on the beginner thing when you know you're gonna end up buying the more expensive thing anyways? Like just buy the more expensive thing up front. Unless you can't afford it, then buy whatever you can buy to start. But
that's my caveat is if you're gonna go to the top tier level, you need to be able to buy the full package. It's like buying a mic without an XLR cable to match is like buying a car without wheels. It's like, don't buy the complete package.
Yeah. Like figure out what's in your range. Cause like, I don't know, this is all fucking niche, you know, but like cameras, microphones, like studio lights, like you figure out like what you need in the range of items and I like to get the nicest of the items of what I need, but they're not the nicest of the items that exist with lights, with microphones. Like there's always nicer things, but like figuring out what your price range is and how good you can go is big for me.
Cause like backpacking too, if you buy like a killer backpack and no sleeping bag, horrible trip. Yeah. Where like the dude who's got like kind of the bootleg of both is like, it's okay. Fine.
Dude, freaking Bilbo Baggins out here being the backpacking goat, dude.
Is he the goat, dude?
Dude, he's the goat. Did you see that man's backpacking setup?
Yeah, he had a pretty good one.
Just pots and pans and a sleeping pad. That's all he had.
Well, Samwise had a fucking good one too. He had the pots and pans as well. And he's carrying like most of the shit and Frodo's being a bitch, just carrying the ring, you know? Dude, it's crazy what Frodo gets away with in that movie just for being like upset.
What do you mean? Explain.
Like, it's just like the ring weighs down on him. And I guess so for context, Greg's never seen Lord of the Rings. Dylan hasn't seen it in a long time. We watched the first one, extended edition, and now we're halfway through the second one, extended edition. So we're just like, this is where we're drawing our analogies, I guess.
Yeah.
Just all throughout the series, like Frodo like doesn't do fucking anything, and Sam's like carrying the shit, like not eating the food, fucking not drinking his water, giving his fucking water to Frodo and shit. And Frodo's like, God damn, I'm like, this ring sucks, you know? It's like, shut up. Like, we don't care. Like, do your job and keep it moving.
Yeah.
Dude, the line, it's getting heavier, definitely made me be like, oh, you're getting weaker, my guy.
He definitely is getting weaker. Dude. It's sucking the life out of him.
Yeah.
What's the name of the people that we were talking about with, there might not have been a name with it. We were talking about the other day. It's like they're life suckers, you know?
Oh, yeah. I don't know the official name for it, but just somebody who like they're going to feed off your energy, you know? Like they're not giving you anything back. They're just taking your energy from you.
Let's call them Frodos, dude.
Frodos.
Actually, a little Frodo-y right now.
A little Frodo.
Planing up the place.
But like Bilbo's kind of being an asshole. Like at the first half of that second movie we're watching, I'm kind of on Frodo's side. Bilbo's being a little asshole to Schmeagol, dude.
Oh,
Schmeagol's just wait.
Sam.
What am I saying?
Bilbo's like the old
Bilbo's
dude.
Frodo's dad.
Oh,
You're fucked
that's his dad?
All up.
Well, it's his uncle technically.
Okay.
Wait.
Father-figure uncle.
Say the name again.
Bilbo is the guy at the beginning of the movie.
And then what's the guy that's my backpacking inspiration?
Dude, Sam.
Okay, didn't mean Bilbo earlier, meant Sam.
There we go. Yeah.
Sam's being a fucking little asshole.
No, dude, he's just being a skeptical he's protecting Frodo. He's a bit jealous.
Yeah.
And this whole thing is like he's supposed to be jealous because Frodo has the ring and he wants a little bit of power, you know? So he's going to like influence the trip with how he can. At the same time, Smeagol's up to some shit for sure. Or at least Gollum's up to some shit, you know? And Gollum's fighting Smeagol.
True.
I got confused by that whole scene.
The whole like inner dialogue between them.
Yeah.
That's a fucking, I feel like that sometimes though, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, when I'm fighting demons, bro.
Yes.
Oh, I'm fully on board with Sam though.
Really?
I would have decapitated that thing. Yeah, 100%.
Do you see him? Do you see?
No.
It was choking
like
him
a
to
little
death.
fucking
No,
gremlin,
I mean, I obviously like, you know, my perspective is privileged because I'm watching the movie and it's like you kind of know what side like you're supposed to be on.
Yeah.
But I do feel like Frodo's right where it's like you're because like he's just like he is trying to help, like he is right that it's like, hey, like we don't accomplish our mission without this little dude.
They were lost.
So
yes.
you got to be nice to him. Like this, like that is a a real thing with emotions. So like maybe try to be a little bit nicer to it, you know, and don't treat it like an animal.
It's one of the laws of power too, where if you don't trust Gollum, why would you make it so obvious, you know?
Yeah.
Like just play it a bit more chill, let your motives like kind of be a bit underground at that.
Yeah.
And when it's time and you see Gollum pulling sketchy shit, that's when you act on it. So you're not upsetting everybody else along the way.
I like that the 48 Laws of Power has really like been seeded deeply into the rap game.
Dude.
Like 50 Cent like attributes a lot of his success to 48 Laws of Power. And then I heard Jay-Z drop it in a song today too.
Really?
I was like, interesting.
Damn.
But I could see that. I could see the music industry being very like, you know, like that's definitely a chess game for sure.
I have to get more on board with it. Because I read it and there's like I love listening to the historical examples with like King Louis just kind of being a fucking pimp in the fucking palace. And he's like, interesting.
Yeah.
And walks away like as his two advisors are like giving him like both sides of an argument. Then he just makes up his mind. They never talk about it again. Like that's fucking sick.
Yeah. That is a crazy power move. To just be like, I'm just not like going to give any reasoning behind my decision. I'm just going to make the decision. It was a wild one to read about in there though, where his like financial advisor built a big palace and then threw a big party. And the king was like, well, like you can't be better than me. Like I'm the king. So like you're dead and I'm going to use your same architect to build the Palace of Versailles. Yeah. And be untouchable.
Don't outshine the master.
Yeah.
Don't outshine the master. And the other one was the one I was mentioning. What was the rule there? Fuck.
Oh, I don't remember the name. The second rule.
Oh, it was don't talk too much. Was basically the thing. The people who talk less, as we're talking in like a long ass podcast, the people who talk less like emit more power.
Yeah.
So like the more you talk, the more likely you're gonna kind of lose whatever status you have with people.
That was an interesting one for me to read about. On the surface of it, I almost disagree with it, but I think it's true. But I think like you almost have to be in a little bit of a position of power first to really play that card.
Yeah.
Helps for sure.
Yeah, because if you're in a little bit of a position of power and you're really silent, then people are like, well, how did he even get here? Like he doesn't say anything. So like obviously he's making moves in the background and doing stuff.
Yeah, you have to be doing something well. So their example for the transgression of the law was the Roman general who was a war hero, who it was like a lock-in for whatever fucking like election thing they were doing. Then he started fucking running his mouth about some fucking bunch of Republican bullshit, basically. And then everyone's like, wait, this guy like doesn't care about the poor people. And then he's like, fuck the poor people. And they're all like, this isn't chill. And then he got like decapitated eventually.
He
got killed after like a bunch of times where like he didn't get the election. Then he like stormed in on a meeting and was like, yeah, don't give grain to the peasants. Like we got to keep it to ourselves, you know? And then they killed him.
Yeah. But real trip of a book.
Definitely. You guys ever see like when YouTubers, they're like beloved by everyone. And then all of a sudden they're like, do hate those little and then everyone's like, and then there's a huge divide where like people come out of the cracks to be like, I love this YouTuber, they represent everything I believe in. It's like they just were racist. And it's like,
I just think it's like the modern day to like, it's the way I feel like people have to be doing it on purpose at times.
You guys seen the Mr. Beast thing? Interesting position he's in.
No, like what's going on with him?
One of his core members came out as trans, and I feel like Mr. Beast is behind him and like supportive, but it's also like, I am like the least political channel and I'm here to get every single person on earth to watch my videos.
Yeah.
So it's like a really interesting point of like him being pushed into like confronting
a scenario where like he doesn't want to confront it all.
Why does he have to confront it at all?
Well, people are just going crazy.
Yeah, people are asking
but like
him,
for
know?
what
he doesn't have to answer, you know, like
no.
I think it's within his rights not to answer.
Yeah.
It might be socially good for him to answer. But at the same time, like, it's his channel, like, he has control over that, you know? People shouldn't force him into a subject, so there is an interesting interplay between those two things.
Yeah. I think it's the right thing for him to support a friend that he's, like, actually genuinely, like, close with.
Yeah.
But his channel is so based on, like, public image. It's not like that's... I mean, maybe his business is strong enough in his, like, individual, like, chocolate bars and stuff. But it's interesting to see, like, if half of the entire world is like, I hate that.
But that's for sure, in my opinion, would like the angle he should be taking is just like, this person's my friend and they're a great, like, you know, employee or like whatever it is. It's like you don't even mention it. You're just like, yeah, I like this person. They're my friend. like let's move on.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the fucking Bill Belichick fucking, dude, we're on to Cincinnati. Like anytime they'd ask Bill Belichick about a prior game, he's just like, on to Cincinnati, on to next week. Don't give a fuck what just happened. Win, loss, don't care. Next team is all I'm thinking about.
Because at the end of the day, not caring is like the ultimate acceptance of like, yeah, I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
You're just cool. Like, oh.
It is interesting because it comes off as disingenuous, and it is at times when people act like they don't care about things. This fucking goes back to fucking Game of Thrones, but Tyrell Lannister, it's not Tyrell, Tywin Lannister. But anyway, Lannister father is telling Jaime, like, you act like you don't care, and that's your whole image, is that you want people to not give a shit. You want people to think you don't give a shit, but you do, because you're creating that image of yourself.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. Like, whenever I try to look like I didn't try, it's like, oh, what a weird paradox. It's not correct.
And I think it's important, though, because sometimes when I'm in the zone and, like, I slipped up, you gotta have to cover a slip up sometimes or people are gonna fucking pounce on you. Like, if I slip up a fucking sentence, I say something goofy, I gotta keep it rolling before Greg is like, you said poop. And I'm like, fuck, I did say poop, you know? So, like, you gotta keep yourself in your flow state in your zone.
Yeah. I love meeting people who don't care in that way. They are always in a flow state, and like when you fuck up, instead of them going, I noticed that and I don't care, they just go, anyways.
Yeah. Anyways, or like, oh no, I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
They're picking you up from the conversation. I like it.
Camilla's one of those people. Got to shout her out.
Yeah.
I feel like I can just do anything, and she's always like, yeah, man. Like, it doesn't mean she agrees, but she's like...
but she chalks it up as like a quirk. It's like, oh, nice, that's fun, you know?
And she doesn't take the time to even acknowledge this quirk. She's just like, that's great. Not a lot of people like that, yeah.
You guys want to spin the wheel?
Spin the wheel, dude.
Spin the wheel.
There's some things where, like, if we spin on, I don't know what we're going to end up doing.
Dude, I know what we're cutting in if you hit mystery box.
Out. Fucking mystery box.
I'm so excited.
What do we got? We got little dynamite. Black Hat is the best you can get. Black Hat fireworks. Dude, we literally have little dynamite. Yeah. We're absolutely setting this off.
Yeah, we have.
Future video.
Oh my God, can you believe I did that? Fucking crazy, dude. Going off the last thing we were talking about, who's your select for a person that like hits you in, who sees you in a way that like most people don't? Who makes you feel like you can do no wrong?
That's a good question. Sometimes people think I'm like more powerful. I guess it's the talking and the quiet thing. Like I had a group in college where like I wouldn't talk that much. I'd contribute and I'd be like really good at beer pong at like sophomore year. It didn't happen junior. I sucked at beer pong. But I'd like hang out with this group. I'd be good at cards, good at beer pong, and everything. And then I'd leave early every time. Like I never gave them too much time. And they got to the point where they're like, dude, like Mateo's time's fucking like valuable, you know? Like this guy's fucking with it and sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I once they recognized that and they pointed it out, I'm like, oh shit. Like I wasn't meaning to do it, but from there on out, I purposefully didn't give people too much, you know? Like I try to contribute, I try to be that guy, you know, but I didn't go too hard.
It does suck people in a lot. Like I don't know if you're there at the 40 Laws of Power, but they're gonna talk about that at some point if you're not there.
Mm-hmm.
But it is like it's a draw for sure. Like I feel like us getting to know each other, I was like, I fucking gotta figure out what's going on with Mateo's brain. Like it took so long to figure out, you know?
Yeah.
But it was like all the way in. Where I'm like that definitely does create a certain aura.
Yeah. But part of the aura is like, I don't understand what's going on.
But that's
in my
what it's
brain,
like so interesting, you know? Then I'm like, oh, this is like there's such a mystery going on here.
My brain's a mystery box, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking open that shit up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, it's definitely you. Like, I feel like that's almost a cop-out answer, but I'm like, that's the truth for sure.
I feel very seen by you guys, and in different ways. I think in the spirit of the question, like, because we've known each other forever, I'm like, no one makes me feel more like understood than you, for sure.
But I think it's like it's an unconditional love thing, you know? It's like I definitely love both you guys unconditionally, where it's like I don't really care what you guys do.
Yeah.
But it's like at this point, I'm like, I'm in. So.
Dude, we're gonna do some fuck shit too. Like we're gonna do some stuff that's gonna get us canceled. Just wait, and we're gonna stick to each other.
Yeah.
I did run that scenario, and I was like, "What's the worst thing you guys can do?" And I'd still be cool. And I was like, "I ran out of things." I was like,
Well,
"I think
we used to talk about it back in the day. I feel like we were like, oh, like you'd have to do. It would have to be like direct harm, like to my family.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm like, it wouldn't be right if I didn't like cut you off.
Yeah. The
Or,
universe would like
retaliate,
smite
you. Know?
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But like if you slap my mom, I just like I think I just beat the shit out of you. I'd be like, all right, we're cool, you know?
Like, that's definitely one of those things where it's like you're like, hey man, like I fucking I love you, dude, but like you have this coming. Like I can't just go on without giving this back to you.
And I wouldn't expect to continue to be friends without another pretty serious ass whooping, you know?
Yeah. And then you'd be friends after the ass whipping though, for sure, I think.
Oh, dude, I told you guys about this dream yesterday.
Uh-huh.
So I had a dream a couple nights ago where there was this friend of mine, and like this, I was dreaming about this guy, and he was sick, and I was like picking on him, like I was like beating him up and like picking on him, like talking shit in a room full of people too. Like he's like sick in a chair, like fucking crazy, couldn't really move that well. I don't know why I was so angry with him, but I felt like this incredible anger towards him. Anyways, so it got to the point where like me and everyone else in the room was like, all right, let's go grab some lunch. You know, we like left this guy there, and we're walking down like 13 flights of stairs on very much like a Santa Barbara sort of like apartment vibe that you were on.
Yeah.
And like halfway down, I'm like, shit, dog, I feel bad. And like the second I had that, like I'm like, fuck, I got to go up and apologize. So as everyone's going down, I fucking turn tail back. And everyone looked at me, he's like, oh, he's about to go kill this guy. Like, it was crazy. And right outside the room, this other person that I kind of unreasonably hated in high school looked me in the eyes and gave me a big hug. And I was like, whoa. And I'm like, okay. Well, like, I'm like, all right, bye. And then I went in the room and I apologized to the guy. And I'm like, okay. He was better too, which was weird. Like he was completely healthy now. And I was like, I'm sorry for picking on you. I'm sorry for doing everything I did. That was fucked up shit. And I'm in the wrong. I don't even need you to forgive me. That was bad. I just want to let you know that I'm sorry. And if like now that you're better, like I expect you to beat the shit out of me. Like don't hold back, you know? Then he's like, oh shit, dog. Thank you. And then I woke up.
Whoa. What if your life is the suffering? You woke up into the beat down. What if that was karmic from many, many years ago? That was really a faced version of a past demon, you know?
It's interesting because he was a person I was very fond of, you know? Like he was fucking super cool, met him at a summer camp. And then when I was like super down in the dumps, he would always pick me up. That was also part of the reason I apologized, because I was like, I remember when I wasn't feeling good, you were fucking there for me. So I was like, why the fuck am I dreaming about this guy? Why am I picking on this guy? And I guess it just has a lot to do with like where your anger leads you.
I've been fucking angry. Bro, pretty shit, bro.
Yeah?
Really?
Dude, anytime I miss a day and I come back on it, it's like, feel it in my blood.
Whoa.
Like when they say blood boils, I'm like, oh, I finally understand. Like I can feel my blood in my arms. And I'm like, oh my God.
Is it like do you ever channel that anger into someone or into something, or is it more just scattered anger?
I mean, honestly, it's usually driving.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really good about being like, bro, calm down. Like, because I spent so much of my life not that angry that I've been like, this is obviously like chemical. There's no need to like, yeah. Sometimes though, I'll find myself saying stuff and I'll be like, whoops. Like, it's not.
I would love to know like what you're saying. Cause like definitely in the car when you're by yourself is like where the anger always shows the most. Even if you're not a road rage person.
Yeah.
Like thoughts go on, you know, like thoughts always go on. You have to check yourself.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could see you having some pretty crazy thoughts in the car that you immediately are like, wow, that was a wild one. But you know,
I think that you guys would hear the little comments and be like, that's a normal comment. Like you're just like saying what's on your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, wow, that's out of line.
Yeah, my anger used to take me so far. Like I would just go like on rampages against my fucking family, against my teachers, against like everybody that was like in my way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I was aiming for. Like I was like bulldozing, you know, but like I don't know where I was going. I was just like fucking out of here, dude. Like
just
keep it
biting
moving.
for the sake, dude.
Yeah. I don't know when I stopped, but there was definitely a point in my life where like I stopped doing a couple things. Like I'm like, why am I arguing with my mom? Like there's fucking no point in doing this. I've always done what I wanted. I've gotten in trouble for it too. Why like keep on arguing about it? Like there's times when like she brings up stuff and I'm like, hey, we're not talking about that. Like that happened today. Like we were in the car, she brought up something. I'm like, hey, if we want to have a pleasant car ride, let's not talk about this at all.
Yeah.
So I think I stopped doing that. It made me feel better. Stopped arguing with fucking Kyle. That made me feel better. I'm like, why am I putting myself in these little fighting pits in life?
I think fighting or like anger is so useful when well channeled.
Yeah.
That your body just starts to be like, I'll just pick it up, you know? And it's like, no, it's only good when you're like motivated to take action.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what? Like anger is I have an interesting relationship with anger because I feel like I almost never get angry about anything. Like I almost wish I got more angry about stuff. So I'm like, what do you channel? Like when you're saying you can channel anger positively, like what do you mean? Like I don't think I've maybe at work there's scenarios where I've channeled some anger positively as like a motivating tool.
Yeah.
But like
I can hop in on this in terms of vibe, where I don't know if you're ever going to be able to stop anger completely in the moment, but there's going to be things that piss you off, and that's just like a natural emotion to go throughout the day. But it's more thinking back on those things. So if someone at work is doubting you, and then like for me, if I've ever been doubted or something like something I took as a slight, when I'm working, I'll think about that while doing it. And I'll think about that past emotion of anger, and I use that as fuel to like, okay, I'm going to fucking cook it up on this podcast, you know?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think that's super powerful. I mean, sports teams go through that all the time. Like NFL, they like, don't give people bulletin board material because if you piss them off on Instagram, they're going to put that up on the bulletin board, and then they're going to like come into this game with more intensity than us.
I think my thing with anger is I've never been angry at anybody's opinion of me. Like nobody's ever said something to me where I'm like, now I'm angry because you said that to me. I think the only stuff I get angry about is when I see people, I don't know the right word for it, but like at work, the only time I get angry is when people like aren't doing their job correctly, or are like undervaluing some part of themselves.
Okay.
There's like things at work where I'm like, hey, you should just make that decision. Like, don't ask me. Like, you don't need to ask me anymore. I know you know the answer. Don't ask me.
You, my dad would agree on that. Like, don't ask me. Like, just do it, you know?
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't like, it's like, you know what I'm going to tell you. Like, imagine the conversation in your head. Imagine my answer and then do it without actually having the conversation for real. Like I know they can do that. Yeah.
And then if you have a more complex question where you've already imagined what I'm going to say, but then there's it could go two ways, then ask me.
Totally. And then I'm happy about it, you know?
Dude, for the longest time, I played that game and got it wrong every time.
What, with me?
No, not with you.
Okay, okay. I was like,
I'd be at work and I'd be like, I think that this is a reasonable post for this company to make. I'd make it and I'd get a text that day being like, what the fuck? Like, that's insane you'd posted that. And I was like, I thought it through and I thought like you would like this. And they're like, I hate this. And I was like, oh.
Well, I think it's usually because you make a decision, like that would happen where you make a decision that's on the riskier end. It might be super entertaining. It might be a funny post with like breaking the fourth wall caption and an inside joke, you know?
Yep.
And then automatically you question it. Like you automatically question that post and then you started thinking about what would the person say. You have to take a couple steps back and be like, was this automatically questioned in my brain?
That's so true. It was the red flag way before.
Yeah, because like the only questions I get mad about is where I'm like, you asked me this same question in the same context previously. So you already know my answer.
Dude, Dylan, you're just a fucking teacher at work, it sounds like, because I got that shit so many times.
I guess so in a way. It's like I have it with Jessica, and like I don't get angry at Jessica because I love Jessica, and like it's more of a joking thing. But she'll ask me things where she was like, "Oh, well, how do you decide how much to charge this person?" I'm like, just do what feels right. Like I don't have any more information to make this decision than you.
Yeah,
I just end up making the decision because I'm like, yeah, this feels about right. Let's do it. So I'm like, don't ask me.
As long as you're in the ballpark.
I trust you. Like, just do it.
Do you feel powerful there?
Oh, definitely.
How often do you like exercise your power?
Often. Every day. Like as much as I can, you know?
I bet it feels pretty good too. Yeah?
Oh, it feels super good. I'm going to have, if this other job thing works out, the week that I quit this job, like my last week of this job might be one of the best weeks of my life.
You're just gonna go fucking crazy, dude.
Oh, it's gonna be flexing as much power as I can.
Okay.
It's gonna be so good. No, it's great. It's definitely addicting. It's like as much as that job is like I feel like I'm not always complaining about it, but I talk a lot about like I want to advance more. I don't want to be stuck here, blah blah blah.
Yeah, you think about your frustrations.
Same thing as everybody has with every job.
Yeah.
But there's something addicting about that job for sure. Like because do I feel unvalued in terms of compensation? and maybe I'm tripping for thinking I should be getting paid more. Like it's like I'm not like I'm in a bad position.
Wrong, dude. You should double that number.
Well, yeah, that's like in my opinion, yes.
I think everyone should always think that they should get paid more.
100%. But in terms of people there valuing my work, they definitely value my work.
Yeah.
And it is addicting in some way to be able to flex that power.
To be needed, you know?
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice.
Were you like a powerful person growing up? Were you in a lot of positions of power?
No, I was
this?
I was an extremely unpowerful. I was a very weak person, like most of my life.
I think that's interesting. Something I underthink about job resumes is they probably want to know not just like the status of your positions and like, oh, what did you work on? But more so like, how does this person handle being in charge? Did they have experience with power? Because I think about it like big quotes in charge. I don't really think about that people power trip sometimes. Like I've been around plenty of people that power trip and I do it sometimes too. I have to catch myself like, oh, fucking chill out, dude. Like Jesus Christ. Do you ever get really specific to somebody's like, oh, it needs to be done this way. And then I'm like, wait a second. No, like do it however fucking works for you, honestly.
Bro. Yeah. I was moving stuff with Kyrie and I was like, she's going to turn left, you know? And she turned right and I was just like, dude. But that's such like everyone's doing it the way they're doing it, and you got to communicate in a situation like that where you're equal parts of a team.
Now, dude, you know, if you wouldn't ask me, like,
trivia last night, you know. We were first place at the final question, and then we decided I'll even say we were first place at the final question. We had the final answer right. We didn't know it was right at the time. But instead of wagering as much as we could, or like a decent amount, we wagered like 4 fucking points.
We wagered like 14 points, but like that, like every other team wagered like 40 points.
Yeah, and the question was like streaming services and like who won the most awards and Emmy Awards in 2022. So there's only like 4 answers. Somebody in the middle's going to get that right. And if you're in the middle, you have no reason not to bet at all, you know?
Right.
So someone's going to jump us easily if they get it right. Like, why not bet at all? I'm not here to have fun. I'm here to fucking win.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's either win or it's like, it's trivia doesn't matter at all. Like, there's no stakes here.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, this is so the Peaky Blinders quote when like Thomas Shelby is like, we should go kill those people. And the Polly is like, hey, what the fuck? Like, don't do that. That's horrible. And she's like, why do you want to do that? And he's like, we can. If we don't show our power, they're going to come kill us. So he's like, we have to like fully flex as much as we can.
Yeah, it works both ways with Peaky Blinders too, because it was one of the last seasons with the guy that like, I don't know, some fucking warehouse guy. And then Tommy had a gun drawn to him. And it's like, and he was telling Tommy like, do what you do, you know, like, why do you do this? Tommy had the gun to him and like, this is why I do it. Then he put the gun down. Like, it's the power of either pulling the trigger or not pulling the trigger, giving mercy or not giving mercy. But it's like the 0 to 100 in a way.
And Polly would have been the correct answer like a day earlier, right? Because she would have used like her other perspective and been like, hey, we're not getting in this fight at all. And then no one needs to flex power and kill each other. That's the right call. That's where it's like that type of thinking strives. But once it's 2 dudes like with their hands on their guns, it's like there's no hesitations. You got to be big dog.
And I do think that like that's probably why there's more like really successful male business people than women, because like it's a risk tolerance thing, and like that's something that really successful. When I say successful, I just mean like really rich people talk about. Is like every person that has made a lot of money has a really healthy relationship with risk. And a healthy relationship with risk is actually like you do take risk. Like you do risk the bag, like in a lot of scenarios. And if you never risk it, then you'll never end up like in first place, you know?
I don't even know if it's like, it's definitely risk, but there's definitely a level of like men are so much more willing to fuck people over, you know?
That's true. And it's going to be so fun if you do, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you're flexing your fucking power, you know, and there's no better like flex of power than like eliminating the enemy, you know, let's kill them and take their stuff, you know, it's like tribal in a way. But yeah, I agree. Like there's like the cushion of like nurturing that like keeps things from having to get there. Then you need to have the willingness to like, yeah, if you're in a fucking Mexican standoff, you're not gonna be like, hey guys, can we like stop? Like, no, we already got to that point.
Yeah, I'm obviously gonna make a Vikings reference here now.
Go ahead.
Thomas Shelby and Ragnar, same podcast. It's crazy. They gamble with their life. Like they're all in on the risk because the other person's all in. So you have to go all in. That's just the name of the game.
Yeah.
But the way they evolve as a society is by thinking ahead and being like, we shouldn't stab each other. See how everyone wins if we don't risk it all? But once one's ready to risk it all, you only have one option.
Dude, and that's super real. I mean, that's what poker is. It's like if somebody else goes all in, you have no option. You either lose or you go all in.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no getting around it.
Yeah. That's such a good, that poker is such a good metaphor for business.
Yeah, you just have to like wonder how much have I already staked? How much am I willing to give up? You know,
right?
The same thing with the Shelby family. Like, okay, we risked this. If we back down now, what are we telling the people? People are able to step on our fucking land. You know, step on our turf.
That's why power sucks too, is because there's always rats nibbling. They'll throw in an all in, but a small one, and you have to decide: do I crush them or do I let them nibble?
Yeah.
Ugh, yuck.
Yuck.
I just hate that. Power's so good, but it's so corrosive.
Yeah.
It's like that 48 Laws of Power book is so scary to read. Like it's crazy to read through that and be like, whoa. Like people are living their lives like this. There's some people who are just playing this game.
And they're doing it very skillfully and successfully. Is it moral? Is it what I think people should be doing in their life? Is it even something I enjoy reading that much? Not always, you know? It's right in a lot of ways.
I have a question about learning. Do you think studying personality traits is a way to absorb them, or do you think some personality traits are better learned through action and that like the study of it doesn't really have a big impact?
Yes and yes, you know?
Yes and yes. That's a fair answer.
It depends what vibe you want and what your goal is.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the 48 Laws of Power thing, is it's like people aren't going to like you probably, like if you're going to operate this way, but having as much knowledge about human nature as like one would if they really were like, you know, super deep in it, like you would have like leverage over things. Like studying it would be beneficial. Like it just isn't beneficial for like having a genuine relationship with somebody.
Yeah. You might not be able to become a Viking by studying the Vikings, but if you were ever like up against a Viking in some sort of war, you'd understand their actions a lot better, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
And you may be able to create better relationships with those Vikings because you understand their way of thinking.
It is good to understand their way of thinking. I guess what I'm saying is if someone thinks, like I feel like sociopaths tend to lean into the 48 Laws of Powers without reading the book. They just like that.
And that's what I was going to say. It's like, if you're going to study it super hardcore, you will end up putting yourself on an island. Like you're your own little island, and maybe other people don't even see that you're on the island, but you're going to feel like you're on an island because you know you're just doing calculations instead of having like a genuine natural connection where you just are letting things happen.
And I would argue that's how sociopaths feel, where they can blend it well, but they feel alone because they're like, no one thinks like me. I think people who try to become a sociopath, everyone immediately goes, oh, you're weird as fuck, dude. Because they didn't like, it's not authentic. They like studied it, and as a result, it's like the rat meter. Everyone's like, like what's going on? Like we had a client once that I was like, I met her one day, and I was like, oh, you're horrible. You're the 48 Powers of book like studied and projected.
Dude,
like you watch Wolf of Wall Street and you're like, I'm going to become that now, dude. And there's so many people that do
I mean, that's like kind of how I felt about the person at the party. Like there's this one person at the party where it's like you get around their energy and you're like, oh, like immediately something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like you're playing a rehearsed bit. You obviously have like done way too much thinking about how you look in this scenario, and it shows. And now I feel weird, and I'm like, I don't want to be around you or talk to you.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah, I think studying topics is wonderful, but studying personality traits is a sketchy road to go down.
Yeah, you shouldn't be that predictable. As soon as you start like studying personality traits and then acting upon that studying, I feel like that predictability shows.
100%.
Because everybody inherently understands it in some regard or the other, you know. But it's pretty easy to call out when it's like, oh, you took it 2 steps further.
I think if you want to be someone different, absorb from people around you. That's the best way to do it. Because I have a way harder time tracking someone who is around a sociopath than someone who like read a book about it. If you read a book, then I can just like unread the book. Classic me unreading books.
Unreading books. Yeah.
I do still think a really big part of that, and the only way you can absorb from those around you, but the only way that you're really going to grow is by getting away from the people that you did learn it from.
The bad traits? Oh, I see what you're saying.
Just like if you are trying to become the person you want to be, I think it's extremely important to enter yourself into situations where you don't know anybody around you, and nobody knows what you were like before this new situation.
Yeah, so you're not pigeonholed into like a certain thing.
Yeah.
For sure.
I feel like A$AP Rocky did that super well. He has like references of like, I like this genre, or I like, he even says like, I like these people, but he has no idols. He's not like, oh, I idolize any one rapper.
I guess that's really hard about being famous though, where I'm like, A$AP Rocky can't ever get around a group of people and be a new person, because everybody knows, like everybody already has a preconceived notion about him.
Oh, let's break this
down.
down.
That would drive me absolutely.
It would drive me insane. Yeah, it's like yeah. Well, go ahead.
I was saying it in the context of I see a lot of artists like I don't want to throw these people under the bus, but like Travis Scott looks up to Kid Cudi directly. He's like, Cudi's the GOAT. I respect the master. I'm not trying to outshine him. I'm just doing my own thing. And he does his own thing incredibly well. It's different than Cudi. He removed himself enough where he's a different fan base and it's like very effective. But I feel like there's a ton of really unsuccessful SoundCloud rappers that just try to copy Kid Cudi. And by not removing from the original, it's just copying and it's not authentic.
That's where the subconscious has so much to do with it. Because Travis Scott obviously listened to a lot of Kid Cudi growing up, you know? Like, he likes his music and he, like, incorporated the sound into his music. But for the most part, it's like, these are the emotions I'm aiming at. And, like, this is a part of me that music hit. And that's the part of me that I'm trying to put into my music, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that if I intentionally study something, it's going to help me understand it. But then at some point, you have to put it on the back burner and just let that shit simmer and see what comes out later on.
I think when you write about art, you're giving people a digital copy of it, and that doesn't absorb as well. It's like a bad vitamin. Where if you give them the actual art, let them internalize it, and then they go make art without ever having like written about it, it works better. That's my personal take.
Yeah, it depends on the purpose of your writing. You know, if the purpose of your writing is that you're trying to bring people to the art, and you're not so much describing the art as describing that, oh, this was like a really good art piece that's at this museum and it evoked these kind of emotions in me. Really great historical background. Go check it out, you know? But the purpose of your thing that you should do should never be to replicate or copy your previous feeling onto something else.
So I don't know how this necessarily relates, but this is the thought that came to my head from that. Was it is like, it's a very much like you'll get what you need situation, you know? Yeah. If you let go of what you want out of whatever, like you're going to get what you need out of it. I think it's a subconscious thing, like you were saying, where it's like you just let it rest there and like it'll like whatever you needed out of it will naturally boil to the surface.
Yeah. As long as you put the effort into like understanding it from a conscious perspective, then yeah, absolutely. The subconscious does fucking wonders, dude.
Yeah.
Super powerful. Yep. I heard someone say that our conscious brain is like a calculator and our subconscious brain is like the entire universe. Like that's the scale difference of like you're doing millions of calculations in your subconscious where you're connecting things so slow with your actual brain.
Dude, I hope that's true, because my conscious is like, it's all right, you know, like it's got some good vibes here and there, but for the most part, like anything smart that ever comes out of me, like I wasn't thinking about it. Anything cool I ever did, any like kill streak I got in the video game, I wasn't trying to do that. I was just vibing out.
Dude, that's just like your Tiny Wings high score. You're like, yeah, I didn't even realize I was on Island 10 until I was like, oh shit. You know?
Just watching Game of Thrones, dude. Baked out of my fucking gourd.
You say that a lot about golf, right? That like the more you relax into it, the better it goes. I'm this classic flow state.
Yeah. Like golf is twofold. Like golf is decision making, where it's like you gotta play smart. But then if you're trying to think too much about your swing, like the actual action of it, you're so screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's what today I was playing golf in our simulator, and I had a couple of people watching me, and I started doing super good, and because I just stopped thinking about my swing.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to show them this type of shot, and then I would just hit it without thinking about my swing.
Yeah.
And it worked way better.
And honestly, that's the perfect example of what we're talking about, with where you have to put the intentional, conscious effort into your swing first and into those like, okay, like I'm bending this elbow too much, or I'm like too much lag on my fucking swing, whatever it might be. You put that conscious effort in and you practice until it becomes natural, and then it's just on the back burner. Yep. And that's when you do the best.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But or you could take Adderall, get super focused, think about it a ton, and do better than you've ever done in your whole life. You know, like that's an option too.
Does Adderall break the wall between your conscious and your subconscious a teeny bit?
No.
Maybe not completely, but there's a little bit more like flow between the two.
I guess so. Yeah. Like I'm super focused on the outcome, but at the same time, I'm super focused on like knowing exactly what every part of my body's doing, you know, and like, even though I'm swinging so fast, being so aware the whole time of exactly where like that club head is at, far away from me.
Yeah.
I think it speeds up your conscious brain to be as powerful as your subconscious brain.
That's the biggest thing, like with golf, and like I'll notice it when I hit a bad shot, and it's what like Adderall would stop. I know if I'm gonna hit a bad shot the half second before I start my swing.
For sure.
Like too late to stop myself from swinging, but early enough where I'm like, it's gone. Like I know it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, you just need that dead focus and like that unwavering confidence that it's going to go well for it to go well. And that's what it helps with. It keeps your brain on track. You don't have that slip up thought right before you swing.
That's usually, yeah, it's crazy. Dude, back to Tiny Wings. It's Island 4 or 3?
Island 4 is intentionally the difficult island.
Yeah, Island 4, well, it's not even difficult, but it makes it impossible to keep it in fever mode. At least for me.
You can do it.
You can do it. Every time I built it up so much in my head where I will literally have a fever from as early as you can in Island 1, 3 jumps in, to Island fucking 4. And then I'll get like 2 good jumps still in fever mode, Island 4. And then I'm like, okay, Mateo, you don't care. Like, it's all good. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Don't think about it. It's all good. Yeah. And then I'm thinking about it, you know? And then I fuck up the fever. Yeah. And I've been playing Tiny Wings for probably 10 years now, and I've never continued the fever through Island 4.
Because that thought takes you out of your timing. It's like you're like all those other things, like your timing is so on. But once you have a thought that breaks your timing, you're done.
It's impossible though, because my timing, I'm not thinking, you know?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. As soon as you have the thought about your timing's screwed because you just added a whole process into your brain.
Yeah.
Gotta have empty head. Good vibes.
That's why golf, it's like every professional player talks about how the number one thing that separates somebody who wins a lot of tournaments from somebody who doesn't is that everybody who wins a lot of tournaments just thinks they're going to win. If you don't think you're going to win, you're fucked. Like you're so far away from ever being able to win.
Okay.
Which is crazy to think about. But
that's
what like the real thing where it's like, if you have those thoughts in your brain that you're not going to win, those are those thoughts that are screwing up your timing and you're just done.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep that in mind, and I'm going to get through Island 4 eventually.
Yeah, but like it's hard because the more you talk about it, the more you're going to get to Island 4 and be like,
I'm building it up.
Man,
I've been building up my whole fucking life.
But that's why when you're super baked out of your mind, you did the best because you probably were too baked to think about it on Island 4.
I was too baked to even realize I was on Island 4.
Yeah. That would be a really cool experiment to do with something like Tiny Wings. And it would help if Tiny Wings islands were a lot shorter and you got through them faster. But if they didn't tell you what island you were on when you got there,
that'd be good.
They're just playing.
Dude, that'd be fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd feel it.
Well, yeah,
like,
for sure.
This is Island 4. Like,
Yeah.
I see it in the fucking colors they choose.
Yeah.
In the slopes that they choose.
The slopes are
They don't
super
even get
distinctive.
steeper. They get like weirder. I don't even know. It's a whole fucking vibe.
That's why Island 9 is really there to screw you. Because Island 9, I was thinking about it where I was like, it's an elevation thing, right? Island 9, you have to climb much more elevation than any other island. And that will naturally slow you down a ton.
Is that, and there's most islands, like any slope is pretty good to take. Like, take that one. If you hit it well, you're fine.
Yep.
Around Island 8, there's some bad slopes that you shouldn't take. Like, even if you land them perfectly, it's just going to launch you straight up and then you're fucked, you know?
Yep.
Island 9 specifically, like now there's a route of good slopes to take. And if you miss that route, you're going to slow yourself down a lot.
Yeah.
So
have you guys seen the AI that tracks what your brain is seeing? Like they'll show you an image and then they have an image on a monitor that the AI is like trying to figure out just based on your brain.
Not in detail, but I know what you're talking about.
Would it break my brain if I saw the image that it thought I was seeing and then it would make another image for what it thought I was seeing again?
Infinite mirror.
Yeah. Like it would eventually just morph into like glub.
I think if it was perfect, it would be, oh, that'd be that's interesting. Would it be a 1-for-1? Like is that the perfect setup? Or is there always variation and it would go forever?
Okay, I had a question that I thought about before this podcast and now I'm going to bring it back up.
Yep.
But last night we were talking a lot about like AI stuff. would you guys have like a little robot friend? Like if you knew it wasn't conscious, but it was really good at talking to you, you know, like it was like, and it was just like something small and like kind of cute and would like, I don't even know if it does like tasks for you. It's like almost like a little like robot dog essentially.
Oh, well, that changes everything. You said dog. You really, my head went somewhere and then you said
like,
dog and
this
it's
mic,
fucked up.
Mateo's got another mic outside this room out there that when you unscrew these mics, there's like this little like I wasn't even listening to what you said.
You just said a cute little buddy, and I was like, oh, I'd have a cute little buddy, no problem. And then you said dog, and I was like, oh, well, it's not like that, you know.
Would Kyrie be all right with you if you had like a little AI buddy? You know, she'd be all right with that.
That's like one of those like OnlyFans was that a few years ago. This is the new level of like.
I think Kyrie would have a little cute AI thing running around.
Again, Mateo's talking about me fucking an AI thing.
Well, okay.
A little prostitute AI. I think that's cheating, right?
It depends on the relationship. I don't know if you call it cheating, you know?
Well, what if it's not conscious? It's just really good at talking to you.
I think I'd fall in love with it.
That's a whole other question. Is like, you know, but
then that's definitely cheating, you know?
Yeah.
But like, is it cheating to have a fleshlight?
It's an interesting question.
Is it cheating to have a fleshlight that does a little bit more? It's electrical and it plugs in. And it's got like beads rolling around on the inside, you know? It's doing a little something. Now, if it talks to you, is it cheating? Not. I don't know.
I think the emotional connection is where it becomes like somebody's going to get uncomfortable in that relationship that device exists, you know?
Yeah.
If it doesn't talk to you, I think it's whatever.
Dude, because I've been jealous of a vibrator before. Like when I was younger, I'd look at it and be like, you're just better than me. You know what I mean? Like you're just like fucking, this guy's out here outdoing me.
But now I've been thankful for a vibrator. Never been jealous though.
Dude, now I'm like fucking, I feel like they're not involved as much as they used to be. And I'm like, get them back, dude. Mm-hmm. This is not a me problem, a you problem.
Vibrators are like ketchup, you know? You're the French fry, vibrator's the ketchup. And don't get it twisted. Don't ever be the ketchup. You're the French fry, Greg. And ketchup's fucking good, you know? But like French fry.
No, the French fry kind of sucks without the ketchup most of the time, though, to be honest.
No, there's ranch out there.
Well, ranch is just a different form of vibrator. But like, if we're going to use this metaphor, you know?
You're saying you don't want to eat just condiment, right?
No, yeah, like you're not going to eat ketchup, you know?
No.
Yeah, it's an enhancer. Mm-hmm. I would even like to make a different metaphor and be like, it's like a garbage chute. No one's mad when a house has a garbage chute. It's taking care of a job that like I didn't necessarily want to be 100% responsible for, you know?
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's porn's role in a relationship of like something like. Let's get back to AI. Yeah, I'd have a little buddy to talk to, no doubt. I think it'd be really fun. Have you seen Megan?
No. Oh, well, that's like a person though.
Oh, so you're saying like
it's not gonna look like a person. Like what I found cute outside here is one of these mic stands you have set up out there.
Yep.
And the mic's unscrewed, and it's just this little like piece of threading, and then there's a little hole in it. And it kind of looks like an eye. And I was like moving it around, and I was like, this thing would be like kind of cute if it had its own little brain and was moving around on its own.
Like Jarvis
and like
Iron
picking things
Man.
up and like looking at it, but like can't really move. Like it's stuck, which kind of makes it cute. Like there's something about it where I'm like, there's something endearing about like a robot that's like kind of smart but kind of dumb.
I do think AI is a way healthier addition to humans if we use it at like 20% capacity. Like, look at this guy. Like he can't walk.
Yeah.
And he's only as smart as a 6-year-old, but he's just great to have around. You should be like, hey, like I feel like Tony's a good Tony. Like, what do you think? And Tony's like, that's great.
Yeah, like just something like you needed to make mistakes, you know, and like clearly be like not fully there, and like then it's cute.
Well, I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of things that it's not gonna be good at and doesn't understand. It might not be exactly what we think it might be, though. You know.
Yeah, but like it's like if I had a robot dog, like I want that dog to occasionally be walking, and because it's not a real dog, like trip over something and fall, and then like get back up like nothing happened, you know? And I'm like, you fucked up. Like,
why do you want that though? You know,
because it's cute.
It's cute.
It's cute. It's like a flaw. Like flaws in the system are cute. Like people are cute because they have flaws.
That's true.
You know?
Robin Williams agrees.
Cartoon porn. Oh wow.
Oh okay.
We were on. Well, you know what I mean? Because like you need the fucking flaws to be like this is different than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Lily Rose Depp's nipples, dude.
It's like 90% nipple.
It's like so much poke. There's so much poke to it.
That's called the nipple.
Yeah, it's the nipple, not the areola. But like, it's still
areola is an ugly word.
I consider it all nipple though, and there's a lot of nipple, but it's condensed to the nipple, not the areola. You know?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 90-10 split.
Yeah, but like, hey, it's interesting and it's like good looking, you know. So I like it.
Yeah, dude, give me a big nipple, bro. But not a wide nipple, big nipple, bro.
Like,
Pepperoni?
That's what I was like. Pepperonis were my.
How
mind
big a
went.
pepperoni?
No.
You're saying. Like,
I'm saying not
big.
wide. No areola, all nipple.
You're saying like a breastfeeding type of nipple.
How much is too much though? Like, what if it like?
There's too much. Jesus Christ. But I feel like Lily Depp or whatever. She's fucking. That's the max. I'm gonna go ahead and say if you got more than that, like you got to find someone who's niche into it. I'm not niche into it, but I'm like.
You go.
I just don't want my nipples. You know what I mean? I already have mine. I can look at them anytime I want. They're disgusting. You know, it's like.
Gee, I'm kind of grossed out by my nipples. I don't know how you guys feel about yours, but I look at my nipples sometimes. I'm like,
happy with my nipples.
You know?
Some of the smallest nipples I've ever seen on this man right here.
Yes, I like the small nipple.
It fits your personality so well. You know, like you just need it like tight and tidy, and like it makes sense. You know,
Yeah.
my nipples are like depends on the day. You know.
Yeah.
Some days I'm like, okay, I'm cool with them. Other days I'm like, ew, dude, like fuck out of here.
I think I have extremely normal guy nipples.
You got super normal nipples. I'm pretty sure our nipples are like borderline the same nipples.
Way smaller.
But it's just because I'm way bigger.
It's a lot of talk.
Your nipples are way bigger.
We gotta like give it to the people.
We did do a shirtless
because
podcast.
We're talking about the nipples, you know.
But that's like this is like, oh yeah, I got small nipples. That's where I'm like, Gregory, I would take your belly button over my belly button, but I would take my nipples over your nipples.
I feel like your nipples match your nose and mine match my nose.
Maybe that's a correlation. Mateo's nipples kind of match Mateo's nose too.
What gets me about my nipples is that like they round up my man boob, you know, where I can't see the bottom of them. I'm like, is this weird that like it's like the tip of the man boob, you know, and then like the rest disappear? Where I'm like, what's going on down there? You know?
Really smooth.
Yeah, super smooth. You know?
They definitely like they have a sexual sort of vibe to them that like freaks me out. You know what I mean? Like I do think about things that I'm like, oh,
like are they getting close to like girl nipples in your head?
They might be, dude. Maybe that's the issue I have with them. You know, I got some womanly nipples, dude.
But like not in a bad way, not in a way that makes you. Yeah, it's not like
they're not awful, you know. If I can like say that, but sometimes I look at them I'm like, I wish they were just a bit fucking tighter, you know.
Yeah,
they're not tight nipples. I don't
Everybody
got tight
wants
nipples.
what they don't have, though, you know.
That's true. Sometimes you gotta go.
Whoa, do you
like
grab
that?
your nipple like
Sometimes
to
you
shake
gotta
them
go
up?
like that, you know, and then it's like, okay, I like this nipple more than it was before. Sometimes.
But what'd you just do to it?
he made him cold. He did a little fucking
this little pinch, you know.
This is
little pinch.
But then
crazy.
you want your nipple like stick, like you want a teat on your nipple.
I don't mind a little teat. You know, both of you guys
'Cause
got
it
a little
shrinks
teat.
the
See, to
size.
me, when I'm like, I want my
teat
teat to go away. I'm like, I want my nipple no teat.
Whoa, okay, because
No
you got more of a teat than I. Both of you guys have more of a teat than I do.
Bro, Joe Rogan teats are unbelievable.
Dude, he's got some little pointers, bro.
Is that a
never seen
steroid?
Joe
Oh
Rogan's
my
teats.
god, they're fucked up. They're like gorilla teats.
I'll look that up after this podcast.
It's something to see.
I like the idea that he loves them, though. You know, that he's like, yes, because they're nipples, and this is like the most efficient way that a nipple works. You know, he's like, orangutans have nipples like me, and then we'll be
Dude, I gotta show you something now. Mark sent me this, and it's like the most overwhelming thing I've ever seen.
Excited. By the way, respect for taking your whole shirt off. Nice.
This is Joe Rogan's nipples.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely haven't seen Joe Rogan's nipples before. Oh my god.
It gets worse.
Pinocchio, dude.
This was a real Mentos
Oh my
commercial.
god, that was a Mentos commercial.
That was a air. Isn't that insane?
Oh my
I
god.
feel like that's the type of commercial you would produce, though, where you'd go into the boardroom and be like, listen, our product doesn't matter. Like, let's just make a commercial, you know?
It's still underdone. Is where you're just like, give me eyeballs.
Once again, thank you guys so much for listening. Mateo, Dylan, Greg, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at YouAreGodPod. Thank you guys for listening. It's just like, I'm happy we're here on video, even if this is just a little training session to get us back to where we need to be. Like, we're getting it cooking. We're getting it cooking, and it feels good.
But we'd move the pot to the front of the stove.
Yes, I like it. I like it.